Happy Friday, everyone, and in this video, we're getting into some Detroit Lions rumors here from Fansided. A lot of outlets, ESPN, Pride of Detroit, just countless outlets talk about how the Detroit Lions wide receiver core is a little lackluster in that they didn't bolster it the way maybe they should have. So we're going to go over that. Should the Detroit Lions look to acquire a wide receiver, whether it be in free agency or in a trade? Should the Lions even look to get a wide receiver? Is the wide receiver position for the Detroit Lions that booty cheeks? Is it really? So we're going to go all over that for you guys in this video. But before we get into today's video, if you're a fan of the Detroit Lions and you're watching this and not subscribed, I say, what the hell, man? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. 65% of you who watch are not subscribed. Might as well just hit it. You don't miss out on the latest news and rumors regarding our beloved Detroit Lions. Let's get this thing going. Before we get into this article, should the Detroit Lions, and did they not address the wide receiver position enough for their football team? For me personally, I think it's fine. The wide receiver depth chart for this football team, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, you got Jameson Williams. Yes, he's suspended the first 6 weeks. I understand that. That's your 1 and 2. You got players like Josh Reynolds, who can hold it down for his own. You got Marvin Jones Jr., you got Khalif Raymond, and then there's that number 6 guy. Maybe you go for, the 7th round pick, Green, maybe you get somebody else. But I think the wide receiver core is fine. Could you upgrade it? You can always upgrade the roster. You can always look to get more talent on a football team. Absolutely no doubt about it. But do I think it's needs to be addressed in a trade or free agency right now? No, not really. But that is just me. So let me know in the comments below. Should the Detroit Lions look and address the wide receiver position in a trade or in free agency? Y for yes and N for no. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's go ahead and get into this article here really quick. And again, Fansided has did this with the said players here about who the Detroit Lions should get. And I'm not going to lie here. I think that they definitely could look to upgrade, but should they really? I don't know. But the first guy here on the list is Tee Higgins, Cincinnati Bengals. He is a damn good wide receiver. In most teams, he would absolutely be a number 1, but he's got Jamar Chase on the other side, and Jamar Chase is a number 1 wide receiver. So with his ability, and obviously Joe Burrow, he gets great in game. He's get over 1,000 yards. He's a very good wide receiver, contested catches, get open. Damn good wide receiver. They franchise tagged him this year. Can they or will they trade him? Well, can they afford him is a question. I don't know because you got Joe Burrow's contract coming up, Jamar Chase, and that's just the 2 main guys. Like their team is stacked, so they could be willing to move him, but to acquire a Tee Higgins is going to probably cost you a first-round pick. And you think a first-round pick, if you get a Tee Higgins, your team is probably going to the playoffs. You could probably make a run with him in this offense because this roster would be absolutely ridiculously good. So if you're going to give up a first-round pick, that first-round pick is going to be high, maybe in the 20s, potentially in the 30s. So you'd be giving up that to get a Tee Higgins, and then you're going to have to pay this guy buku money. Why? Because he's a damn good wide receiver, deserving of it on a franchise tag. So you're going to have to pay him a hefty contract, 4 or a $5 million deal, somewhere, millions of dollars. So, and then you got to look at the future of the Detroit Lions. You have Amon-Ra St. Brown. Eventually his contract's going to come up here, and you're going to want to pay him. Then you got to think about Jameson Williams, the future as well. Got to pay him. So do you want to pay 3 wide receivers with top money? That seems quite difficult. And right now, if you look at the Lions' offensive line, there's a lot of money put into there, whether it be Jared Goff, it gets extended too. So the offense would have a lot of financial assets for them. Is that something that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell willing to do? But would he make this roster better? Absolutely. Would he make this offense absolutely better? Absolutely it would. It would make it extremely good. This offense would be unstoppable, in my opinion, with the Tee Higgins. Tee Higgins, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Jamison Williams. Oh, my God. Just what are you going to do there? You would have a lot of problems. Defenses would have a lot of problems going against this wide receiver core and this whole team. So, do I think they trade for him? No, I don't. But I understand people wanting to get for him. So, question for you guys in the comments section. Would you trade for Tee Higgins? T for trade or P for pass? Let me know in the comments below. Curious to see what you think on this one. Let's continue on with the next wide receiver here. N'Keal Harry, free agent. Now, initially, this guy was from New England Patriots. He's been a little bit over, and then the Chicago Bears. He was previously a first-round pick. He has not lived up to this status. We talked about him maybe 2 years ago, potentially getting him, in a trade for a late-round draft pick. Now he's a free agent. If we were to sign him, it's not going to cost anything. We're talking about veteran minimum. Do I think we need to sign him? No. Would I be upset if they signed him? No. It'd be more of, can this guy make the 53-man roster? Can he actually beat out Green for the 6th spot? That's what it would be, because this guy is not guaranteed to get no job here for the Lions. He's underperformed throughout his whole career. In all honesty, I'm going to be frank on this one. I'm keeping 100. I take Green over N'Keal Harry. You have a young prospect who pretty good in college, an opportunity to develop. I take him over N'Keal Harry, who has just shown nothing really, and he's older. So why take a chance on a guy who hasn't shown anything, or a guy you can at least develop and kind of see something? But if they want to sign him just to compete in training camp, I'm not going to be upset about that. I don't think it's worth it. Not a big fan of what he did. Let's go to number 3 here. And this is Rashard Higgins, so another Higgins here, formerly with the Carolina Panthers. He actually played pretty good, but there were some problems with him. Don't necessarily know what occurred over there. He is a free agent, so again, I don't think it's going to cost. It'd be veteran minimum over there. But he has flashed. He does big catches, 16-plus yards average. So this guy has it done good. I just think that he probably won't even make the 53-man roster. He probably would not beat out Green. So at this point, you say, what is the point of that? What would be the point on bringing a guy here who probably is not going to get it unless there's an injury? Yeah, I can see that if there's an injury. You get a guy in here to compete. But he's older. He hasn't done anything significant to say this guy will make your wide receiver position much improved. My personal opinion, just pass. Pass. Let's go to the number 1 here, and I think this is the most likely. I already seen this. Now, Corey Davis has some issues over there with the New York Jets. He is a big wide receiver, and they're looking to trade. I think they are looking to trade him probably before the trade deadline, maybe even before. And I know they're trying to make a Super Bowl over there for the New York Jets, but this is different than a Quinnen Williams. This is problems here. He is a guy that is good in contested catches. He would be an outside wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. I don't think necessarily if you're to trade for him, it's going to cost that much. Maybe a mid-round pick. That could be. The cap hit, yes, there's a cap hit for him, but the Lions can cover it. I think if the Lions were to upgrade the wide receiver position, this would be probably the guy to do it. Yes, he has never lived up to his status in the first round at number 5 overall. He hasn't. But he's 6'3", almost 210 pounds. He is that X receiver. He's a guy that can beat up on small corners and then have an opportunity to get some footballs. He hasn't lived up to it. Great, but he wouldn't have to be the guy here. He wouldn't have to be the number 1. He wouldn't have to be the number 2. Hell, he doesn't have to be the number 3. He may not. He could be a number 4 here. And the number 4 is a lot different than being a number 1 or a number 2. You're going to get your opportunities at that point then to make some legit noise, to get an impact. It's not going to cost you much from draft capital. It's not. That's not the problem for the Detroit Lions. Absolutely not. So if they wanted to get him, I think from a capital standpoint they could, even from a financial standpoint. So I think all those there is pretty good, and it makes the most sense. You're not doing a big deal here, for sure. Another player that has been linked to the Lions is DeAndre Hopkins, the wide receiver from the Arizona Cardinals. I don't really know, what he would be traded for. You hear second-round pick. It still hasn't happened. Maybe be a third-round pick now. It does feel like he'll get traded. He's had some injury concerns. Could the Lions look to get him? His pay is really high for his injuries. I don't think it'll happen. Doesn't really make sense. But he's still very talented, and he would not be a number 1 here. He could be a number 2, number 3, but I just don't think that's a player the Lions would get. I don't think he'd really jump in the culture for the Detroit Lions. It's probably not a guy they would look to get, but honestly, I really just think they're fine with what we have right now. I think we're fine with it. We don't have the best depth at wide receiver, but we don't need to because we got great tight ends, really good running backs, and Jameson Williams will be back eventually after Week 6. So then we'll have the guys we need. But let me know in the comments below what you think about getting a wide receiver, your thoughts on that one. We're dropping videos every single day in here, Monday through Saturday, besides Sunday. So I lied there 6 days a week. And live shows on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, and like the video.